Hey there, it's meteorologist Jamie Singleton. Sunday night, 10:16. Wanted to jump on and give you an update on some of these storms that are out and about. Maybe seeing the lightning if you're in the NRV and near West Virginia. There's a lot of lightning going through the area. Mercer County, Summers County. And we've got a few showers breaking out around the Roanoke Valley area, but these are not nearly as intense. So let's get to it. And we'll show you here on WeatherTap. First, you've got through Summers County and Mercer County. This is a bit of a concerning look. Could have some strong winds in through here, right near Princeton as you make your way up Interstate 77. And Monroe County also will be in the path of this strongest storm that I see. Most of the other part of West Virginia here, as you get up around Beckley, in the Greenbrier County and Oak Hill, just some moderate rainfall, at times heavy. And then as you make your way south, it's Tazewell County that's getting some thunder and lightning as well into Bland County and some small cells developing in western Giles County. And you've got another line here going through Montgomery, Radford, and Pulaski County, but this isn't quite as strong or severe. I don't anticipate it to be either. But I am going to watch this cell right here, or this cluster here coming out of southern West Virginia, as it does look fairly strong, at least heavy right now. And storms earlier in Tennessee were producing some very strong winds. So I don't think this will have widespread wind with it, but we could see some gusty winds, some brief heavy rainfall, at least in a few areas, maybe some damaging wind in a couple of spots as well. Camp Creek at 10:14, Eads Mill at 10:16, Speedway at 10:21, Pipestem at 10:23, and Hilltop at 10:28. Take you through the next 10 minutes on that one. There's another path here with some Kimball there at 10:14, Keystone at 10:17. And again, these are non-severe at the moment, but the strongest one there is in Mercer County, West Virginia. Bath County also seeing some rainfall as well. And we'll go to it on another view here. Here it is on WSV3. I wanted to show you some of the lightning that's occurring here. Each time the screen glows, that is a lightning strike in progress. So we don't have anything going on across the rest of the area. And these storms, as they move into the rest of tonight, going into the next couple of hours, are probably going to die out very close to Roanoke, but some of them could survive. So just to keep your guard up just in case, but I think most of the activity is going to remain along and west of the Roanoke Valley as we go through the evening hours. Mainly, it's probably just Giles County, maybe in the Blacksburg, then locations north and west of Roanoke going into the Allegheny Highlands. Pretty good reflectivities here, though, in the Princeton storm here up to about Hinton. This is again, where we're just looking on the radar. We've got a fair amount of lightning here as you move your storms up against I-77 as well. The movement here is off to the east. I'll put this into motion, and you can see how it tracks pretty much east, maybe a little bit south of east, actually. So this is going to clip, more than likely, it's going to clip Giles County, and it's going to come into Mercer County there as well. And then after that, it should weaken, although it's holding its own fairly good at the moment, just crossed I-77. And there is a tail of higher reflectivity here. It's indicated by the heavy rainfall that we're seeing across southern West Virginia. And again, very few places need rainfall right now, so any rain's probably bad news. You can hear the grass growing outside, pollen's everywhere, and this continues to be an unsettled spring, with most of this, again, staying out of Southside. I'm not really worried about Southside, not worried about Lynchburg or Roanoke, and not really worried about the storms in general unless you get really close to the West Virginia border. So that's a look at the lightning on your screen there, and that's a look at the thunderstorm activity as it continues to move into western parts of the area. I want to take an investigation of some of the winds here on radar scope. And this is just a different view of the same thing that you saw earlier. Let's put on our super res velocity here and do some investigating. I've actually got some 53 to 58 mile per hour winds showing up here. There may be a warning out soon just around the Bluefield area. A lot of that could be a loft, though. If you look up actually into where the storms are, you're about 47, maybe just shy of severe limits. So these may not have warnings with them, but there are some gusty winds on the radar picture here between 30 and 40 miles per hour, up to about 47 miles per hour there in that strongest storm just to the east of Princeton. So that's actually got a lot of wind with it. And a lot of wind showing up in Tazewell County as well. And we are quite a bit of ways off the ground from the radar site here, but that could be a concern. Going to look at spectrum width here. See how the winds are changing with each pixel, and there is, you see a gust front right there going through the Princeton area with those thunderstorms. This is ice showing up aloft. And this shows me where the very heavy rainfall is. Kind of filters out in the cranberry just the light rainfall. Anywhere in the colored areas here that you get into the blue and the green and the yellow, that's some very heavy rain just outside of Giles County. So the torrential rainfall with these storms as they move through the area. And again, that's occurring. It's occurring right through Mercer County and into Summers County is where we're seeing these thunderstorms. And again, maybe Giles County and then going into Monroe County for sure. Union, you're going to get some of these storms as they continue to move off to the east. So it's right here where the really heavy rainfall is. And again, it's moving off to the east at a fairly good clip. So watching that activity tonight, I'm also watching the fact that it's going to get cold this week. So if you're a gardener and you are doing any planning on planting, you're going to run into a bit of a hiccup here in a couple of days. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in just a second. First, we're looking at 700 millibars. You can see the humidity with our little short wave going through West Virginia right now. This is a loft at about 10,000 feet. That's what's feeding this thunderstorm complex now in the West Virginia. And this will continue moving east throughout the night tonight. But it should begin to weaken. I'm not really looking at a lot of the model data here because the storms, when they come out of the west part of the mountains and then they move across around midnight or later, they tend to weaken. We don't have a lot of moisture aloft. As you just saw here, this is westerly wind aloft. So there's not a Gulf of Mexico connection here to give us substantial moisture. There's not a lot of instability around either. It's mainly elevated instability that's up in the clouds, and it's not surface based. So it doesn't have to be too concerned with severe weather, although the cell in West Virginia is probably going to mix down some gusty winds. But other than that, if you put this in motion here and you go to around midnight, you still got storms in northern Virginia up north of Stanton, just north of 64 there. And you've got them going through the Allegheny Highlands. It'll be a noisy night for sure in Covington and Clifton Forge with some rain and some thunder out there. But again, nothing too severe. And then as you make your way down through Giles County, again, you get wet down through there and up against I-77 Wytheville tonight around midnight. Then advancing forward here, notice how once it gets into the Roanoke Valley area, this model being a little more optimistic on holding together some of the rainfall, but notice the severity goes way down. And I wouldn't be surprised if these showers don't die out completely by midnight, 1, 2 o'clock by the time they get here into Franklin County where I'm at. So you can see definitely by the time we go into 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, it's gone. So it's going to be a situation where the air is going to continue to cool outside, and that should weaken these things somewhat. But in the near term, the next couple of hours, they're going to be quite strong into West Virginia, and I think they will die out just in time by the time they get to the Roanoke Valley area. I want to look at the actual hourly HRRR here, and we will look at this in motion and see. It's holding it together a little bit more. The HRRR's been more aggressive with this all day today, going into Roanoke by around midnight. So we'll see. Maybe in the midnight in Lynchburg about 2 a.m. or so. We'll see if it can hold together. There's a circulation here showing up on this model, more of a circulation. It's holding it together a little bit better. All right, let's talk about the cool air and the return of, we've got blocking once again. And by the way, this is what we were missing all winter. We didn't have any snow, right? And it was pretty mild. And now that we're in spring, we get the pattern that looks like winter. Go figure. And a lot of us were saying we'll probably get that now, in winter. And it doesn't mean necessarily snow, but it does mean that it's going to be a frozen time with some maybe frost and freeze advisories needed as early as Wednesday night. This is the jet stream pattern right now. And so the blue areas is where we're dipping below normal. And by dipping, I mean literally dipping here on the map to the south. And your ridges, your high pressure areas are seen here in orange. And this is compared to normal, so orange would be above normal heights and blue is below normal. We take you through tomorrow afternoon, and we still have this cool air across the northeast with little waves here coming down the jet stream, and there's another one out here in Montana. So we do get a bit of a flat ridge still well off to or still just off to our west tomorrow. So tomorrow should still be a decent day. We'll probably be in the 70s for your Monday, maybe a bit breezy at times. But then by the time we go into Tuesday, we're going to have a disturbance here with this thing in Montana, this dip here coming out into Iowa. There's a low at the surface there. You see it in red across Kentucky and Tennessee. So it's going to rain, generally speaking, just a soaking rain again coming up for Tuesday. Probably can count on another half inch to maybe inch and a quarter of moisture coming down throughout the day Tuesday. We can also see thunderstorms Tuesday depending on how warm we get, but I'm going with mainly just a rain situation for Tuesday. Now after Tuesday, and Tuesday will be cool, but we won't have a threat of freezing until the rain moves out. But as the rain begins to move out Tuesday and the Wednesday, everything's going to amplify because of the blocking in the jet stream. And it's like a dam that forces, if you've got a small wave and it hits that dam, the energy's still coming in. And so what happens is you amplify the disturbance. So, and each disturbance will amplify on top of that. So you've got a closed low now in Ohio, and this is looking at Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, still some showers maybe Wednesday, but look how below normal we get here. You got 546 decameters, and you're looking at heights at about 26 below normal. I think that's in decameters, I'm not sure. I believe so. That's quite a bit below normal, as you just see on the color out there. And then you've got the ridge off to your west, and look, there's more around the Hudson Bay. So let's go into Thursday. Still below normal height-wise, and we'll have below normal temperatures, you can bet, in that pattern. Some pretty low heights here. If you look at the thickness of the air and all that, it correlates with temperature, and very low thicknesses here as we go through the rest of the week. So it looks like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday starts to maybe warm up in between just a little bit, but our flow is still way out of the northwest here. So if you've planted anything, count on some freezing temperatures, believe it or not. Here we are in May. We usually tell you by mid-April you're okay, but the patterns seem to be shifting a little bit, and our winters are getting somewhat warmer at times, and our springs are getting cooler, and you have to wonder what's going on. But anyway, if you move into next weekend, May the 9th, it's below normal, so that's impressive. And that would indicate that normally we should be around, instead of 543, we'd be at 573. Or instead of 555, we'd be 585 height-wise in decameters. So this is just absolutely what you want to see in the winter if you want snow. This pattern, honestly, could bring snow showers to the northeast in May, which is crazy. If you look at the raw output off the European for Roanoke, you can see here it's got the high temperature, and these aren't going to be exactly right. I like to look at this as kind of a ballpark figure, but I do want you to see the overnight lows here in the green. Notice that, let's see, this is tonight's low, Monday's high at 70, and then you have your rain in the 50s for Tuesday, lows in the 40s. You move out here to Wednesday and Thursday, and our lows start to drop back into 30s by Thursday morning. and your high only at 61. We normally should be around 75 this time of the year. May the 8th, Friday, May the 9th, Saturday, and look at Sunday, May the 10th. All indicating morning low temperatures below 40 and probably in the 30s, even the lower 30s here coming up for next weekend. High temperatures would struggle to get out of the lower 50s for highs. That's about 25 degrees below normal. That's crazy. And then your cold sticks around really into Monday morning, May the 11th. It isn't until the 12th of May and the 13th of May here that we start to go a little bit closer to where we should be. And that's just the European model solution. You've also got the Canadian here, which offers much the same. And again, once we get out here to next weekends, where we look at the potential for some sub-freezing temperatures coming up from May to the 10th. So it's just incredible to see that. And you can see here off Tropical Tidbits, I'll put on the below 850 millibar temperatures at 500 or 5,000 feet compared to normal. And this will give you a visual representation off the GFS of what this looks like. So we go to above normal today, where we had the nice weather this weekend. Actually, at least we timed that out okay. Then if you look at the 5,000 foot temperatures, this takes into account more of the takes out the daytime heating and cooling. It just shows us what the temperature's doing, how it's moving up in the clouds. And look at this. There comes the cold. And this is Wednesday evening going into Wednesday. And then there's a second. This is the second one here coming in behind that from the Hudson Bay north of the Great Lakes here. As you go into Thursday and Friday and Saturday, compared to normal, those temperatures are a good 20 degrees below normal at 850. And the heart of that colder than normal air is over us Saturday morning. So if you have any plans for next weekend, it's going to be chilly. And there's no end in sight here, at least off the GFS. If you look in the weekend after that, or the next day anyway, Sunday the 10th and going into Monday the 11th, there's still some very cold air for this time of the year all over the country, except for the western United States. So let's see how long on the GFS this sticks around. Look at this. This is May 12th, May 13th, still cold. May the 14th, it's still cold. And as we finally go in the middle part of May, we start to warm back up. And now, that's just the model's guess. That could change, but that would be, you would hope at some point we get a little closer to normal, and that may happen. But you stay, if you put this in motion, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4 batches of at least cold air for this time of the year. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that as well. Look back at these storms, and again, we've got a track of them here. We had so many wind damage reports and power outages throughout the Nashville area, through Cookeville, going into West Tennessee, and this was in a line. Now it's pretty much dissipated, just some clouds around the Carolinas and into our area. We've had an increase in clouds and a few spotty showers, but really we don't have a lot of activity out there in terms of anything severe. In fact, that one cell that's moving into Monroe County or Summers County here has weakened quite a bit as well, but still has some heavy rainfall with it. So some thunder and lightning out there for sure. And you can see right now in Giles County, we've got that going right down 460 and 219. Some very heavy rainfall, but nothing severe. But around Union, watch out too. Around Lewisburg, some heavier rainfall up I-64. So this may near the Roanoke Valley around midnight. It's going to be a close call though, because I also think it's going to try to weaken some as we move over the mountains here and late at night. That's your forecast. We've got another chance of rain after this coming up again for the day on Tuesday, and maybe some morning showers Wednesday, and then the bottom drops out on that temperature. So are you gardeners are going to want to bring in those plants? We got Mother's Day coming up, and I know my mom, she wants some plants, but we may be doing it inside this Mother's Day. Have a good night.